Hey everybody, Stepgun here, and today we're going to take a look at a cheaper but more reliable Taurus G3. Let's take a look. All right, everyone, that's right. We're going to take a look at the Taurus G3. So the G3 is kind of the bigger brother of the Taurus G2C that a lot of those guns were sold. And Taurus came out with the G3, and as you know, right out the gate, Taurus is they receive a lot of hate. A lot of people really don't like these guns. You know, people consider Taurus the lower end, cheaper guns. You know, some people say they're not worth the crap. Some people live and die by them. Some people love them. You know, it's the gun that gets talked about a lot. You know, and Taurus, come out with a G3 here in 9mm. They had the G2C, which actually proved not to be that bad of a firearm. You know, some people had issues with it, but it the quality made in a Taurus, it's a cheaper gun. And a lot of people don't really understand that, when you get cheaper quality, a cheaper price gun, it's not going to last that long in the long run. Now, with that said, and everybody probably wants to know my opinion. Well, my opinion is the Taurus G3 is not that bad at all. I only had a couple issues right out the gate, which was with some magazines, which is loading a full 17 house magazine. And breaking magazines in, breaking the gun, and it was having a hard time feeding right away. So I just took some ball ammo and shot it. And to be honest with you guys, I haven't had any issues at all really with the Taurus G3. And I would even go ahead and say that the gun is reliable. Not everybody can afford to buy a super expensive pistol. So for some people, the Taurus G3 may be all they can afford. Period, being $250 gun, which is not that bad for a striker fired pistol with a polymer, lower end, and 9mm for someone that really needs a gun. So far, I haven't, like I said, only issues I have were with the magazine. Now, to get down to the gun itself, Taurus, like I said, I have a few Tauruses, yes I do, and I don't mind them. I've had a couple issues here and there, but this is the thing with a Taurus that everyone says, and Taurus is a cheaper made pistol. They're not Glocks, they're not 1911s, they're not, super expensive type of steel frames. The slide to fit isn't that you would see on a Glock or anything like that. As you guys can see, the gun is unloaded here, and the chamber is clear, by the way. So this is a safe firearm I am working with. But, the G3, though, really has me impressed. I got a lot more gun than I was expecting. The couple things that come out with it, got your rail here on the bottom. You can put a light, you can put a laser on it. The easy takedown with the springs, to kind of get into it. Some of the things right away. The trigger's a little bit better. They got the safety here on the trigger. They also have a safety here on the side as well. It's only on one side of the slide, which I'm not too big of a fan of ambidextrous safeties, which means there's a safety on both sides. But one thing I do really, really love about the Taurus G3 is this grip right here, this check ring, as you guys can see on the actual the lower frame here, is astonishing. As you can see, that it almost looks like I can't think of the material that they put, like Line-X type of material they put in the back of a truck, Rhino liner kind of thing, and it feels super good to your hands. I mean, when you put that in your hand, it's there. It feels really good in the hand. And the magazine release isn't too bad. It's not too small, it's not too big. Another thing I like is you got the thumb indent here to put your thumb on. The grip as well, so that feels pretty good. But as you can see, the 15 round mag here, the magazine release, it shoots the mags right out of there, which is good. Taurus has the 15 round magazines here for 9mm, and they also make the 17 round mag as well. It's got a little extension piece on here. It slides a little bit. I know some people use glue on it, but mine tends to stay down, you know, pretty well. And the 17 round mag fits in there, super nice. So it shoots out of there as well, which is something you really want in a gun, to be able to have magazines shoot out of there. You know, you don't want it to catch up. The sights on this gun, they're not too bad either. You know, the Taurus kind of has their own sights, to be honest with you. And it's like a dovetail kind of sight here, but as you can see, it's a lot wider than your normal dovetails. It goes all the way to the back of the slide here. And then I've seen some people, they swap these out. You know, they'll have a fiber optic front sight as well. So it, you know, you can definitely swap those out. But for $250 pistol, it's really not that bad. I mean, right out of the gate, the way it feels in my hand, the trigger, another thing they added too is, you guys can see here, here's the trigger, okay? So it's got that kind of Glock safety on the trigger where I pull that back, it doesn't go off. Now I pull here, it clicks, but the trigger has an automatic reset. So that's pretty cool. So, you know, a striker fired pistol, normally you pull it and the gun cycles and you shoot again. But with this trigger, look at this. It just keeps shooting. So it's got an automatic reset unless the slide cycles, which, you know, which is pretty interesting. If you have a fail to feed, or like a fail to eject, or you have an issue, or a round fails to fire, you know, you can strike that round again and see what happens. So that's pretty interesting. If you want to get down into the meat and potatoes of it, pull it back. You know, the spring is it's not that tight. The gun does have a little bit of slop, as you can see here. It is a double spring, so I'm going to disassemble it in a minute. But the gun does have a little bit of slop. I've put a few rounds through this gun already though, so you can see that. But it's not bad. It comes back, it goes home. It's got the front serrations up here, which I like as well. Rear serrations as well. There's your ejector right there, your barrel. So you can see we'll take it apart. It's just like a Glock, guys. For those of you who don't know how to take a Glock apart, you got a little takedown spring on this side, and you got a little takedown spring on this side that pulls a lever. When you pull the trigger, releases the slide. So all you do is you pull the slide back. The way I always do it is I'll push it into my thumb, grab the slide, pull this tab down, and then pull this tab down here. So I'll pull both of these down, let go of the slide, pull the trigger, and you shoot your slide right off, okay? Now, as you can see here, we get into the trigger piece a little bit, okay? It's got an automatic little feed ramp right here that kind of starts where the barrel goes, so it kind of starts early. So most of your barrels, as you see when I'll take the barrel apart, have a straight feed ramp on it. But it starts here, as you can see. I just shot this gun. I'm gonna do another review. We'll do nothing but range time with the Taurus and shoot it. But you can see everything inside of here with the trigger. There's that trigger I was telling you about. So everything moves pretty flawless, pretty free. There's not much slop in the trigger actually, especially moving right here. As you can see, I'm not pushing that detent down so it locks, but when I pull it down, then it's able to engage, as you can see there. Okay. Now when we get into the slide, you got your double spring, which I love double springs, okay? Double spring meaning, okay, there's a spring here, and then there's another spring here. So you got a double spring. The spring is kind of loose, you know, if you compare it to a Glock. The reason I say Glock, guys, is just that's the most universal pistol people can really think of. So that slop you can have, if this was a single spring and there was that kind of slop in there, it'd be a different story. But the way this spring is, when it fully compresses, it gets super tight once it does compress all the way. So that's the point of that double spring. So that is the reason you kind of have that slop and initial when you pull the slide back on the frame. So there's your spring, then your barrel just comes right out. Okay, as you can see the barrel here. I'm not really sure what type of a finish this is. It is kind of like a matte steel kind of finish, but it is it's definitely, you know, corrosive prevention, I believe, is the reason they did this. Rust prevention as well. But you can see the barrel here, the feed ramp, I'm sorry, you can see the feed ramp goes into here. And what I was telling you guys earlier, when you look at the way this sits on here, this is kind of interesting because Taurus, the way they made this on the lower, you see the feed ramp starts here and it starts feeding through the lower, it comes into here. The only issue I would have with that is over time, you know, you get a round, you get a hollow point or something that starts eating away at this lower right here. It could start causing issues in the long run when you're feeding rounds into the barrel coming through here. So just something to be aware of whenever you're, you know, you do get this gun and shoot it, to keep your eye on that, to make sure you don't start having issues there. But yeah, the barrel is it fits in there really nice. It fits into the slide nice. As you can take a look here at the slide, we look in here and see it's got a lock right here. You know, you hold for your double spring, and then back here you got your striker. So basically it's the same thing as a Glock. You know, you pull into here, this will disassemble, and matter of fact, I'll take it apart for you guys. You screwdriver here. You just push this little tab in here. So this is a Glock. If you ever want to take a Glock apart, you can do it the same way as this. You just pull this down, and this piece back here just slides right off. Okay. This is your slide plate. See, it's got these little tabs on it that slide up into there. Okay. So you take that out, then lo and behold, your firing pin comes out. As you guys can see, your firing pin right here. Okay. There's your spring. I'm not really sure what the whole yellow part of this was. I mean, I guess it's just to find it if you lose it out or if it goes somewhere. But obviously, once you take that out, you can push this spring in here. You can take your ejector out, your extractor, excuse me. I'm not gonna get into all that. But yeah, you can see your firing pin here, guys. It's actually a nice little spring on the firing pin. So that's what that looks like. As you can look inside of here, I put it in a recent video, a Glock video. I don't ever put oil in here. As you can see, this has already it gets really dirty. A good way to clean this, you know, it's each of its own. If you guys do it a different way, comment below so you can help other people out. But I just take some isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip and I just run it down inside of here, and basically to get all that oil and residue out, because you don't want to have issues with the firing pin. So to put it back together, you just slide that back in like so. As you can see here, get it to focus. There we go. Push it in just like so. Okay. Then you'll just take your plate here, cheat a little bit, push that through. There you go. And that snaps just like that. Now you got your firing pin back there, so you know you can easily take your firing pin out and clean that as well. And then to reassemble it, guys, it's just pretty simple. Just put your barrel back in here, take your spring, put your spring, lock it in right here. You can see where the front of your guide rod spring goes. Then you want to pull your spring down, put it in just like that. Okay. Then you want to put it on your rails here, as you can see. Another thing you got to pay attention to is when you're coming in here, line it up through here to the frame. Once it gets in here, there you go. It's back together. It's locked. Point the gun in a safe direction, test fire, and you're good to go. So as I mentioned, guys, this isn't a Glock. You know, it's a cheaper pistol. It's a $250 pistol. But Taurus is really, you know, they moved to Georgia now. They're no longer you know, located. They were in Miami, but since they've moved to Georgia, they have really, you know, their pistols over the years have really taken off. I mean, they're not, you know, how they used to be. Some of the older Tauruses used to have some serious issues. You know, the Taurus had some issues for a while. I mean, they had fail to feed problems. They had, you know, firing pins breaking. But, you know, some people say that irrelevant to the fact that that can happen to any firearm. Any gun can break. Any gun can have an issue. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, the Taurus G3 is it's a good gun. It's a good hiking gun. It's a, you know, if it's all you could afford for home defense, absolutely. It's proven reliability. There's people on YouTube now with 2,000-3,000 round reviews, and they haven't had any problems so far. But, you know, it's definitely, with it being a cheaper gun, I will say, you're going to have to do your part to really make sure, you know, when you're cleaning your gun, you go that extra step like I was showing you, and make sure you get in here and take all this apart inside of your slide back here with your firing pin, and make sure you really take care of it cleaning wise, and the gun will last you just like anything else. But it you know, Taurus did a pretty good job making this G3. I haven't had any issues with it. The people that complain and hate Taurus, they're probably always going to hate and complain and not like Taurus. You know, there's people out there that are like that. But in my true honest opinion, as I said, I haven't had any issues with it. So if you're considering picking it up, you know, if you really want it and you've heard a lot of mixed reviews, it's not a bad gun, guys. It's a good shooting gun for what it is. For $250, you just can't go wrong. But yeah, guys, the Taurus G3, Taurus is proving reliability. Who knows how the G4 is going to be? I mean, these G series pistols have really taken off. They sold a bunch of G2s, and you know, down here, go in the gun store as well. They're selling G3s and G2s like hotcakes still. So yeah, guys, check it out. Hey guys, as always, I really appreciate you guys watching this review on this Taurus G3 striker fired pistol. Be sure to like and subscribe. There's a lot more videos coming. We're gonna take this gun out to the range as well. Obviously, ammo prices are so high, and still with COVID and everything down here in South Florida, it's been kind of difficult. But we are gonna get out there and do some more shooting with this Taurus G3. I haven't had any issues with it. Like I said, the only issue I had was with the magazine problem eventually. You know, it went away. There was no more issues with that. I had to compress those mags, break it in. But it's not bad. It's a $250 pistol, so you know, you got to think about that. Taurus has really come a long way. Their new factory now is in Georgia, as I was saying. So Guys, if you haven't done so already, check it out. If you're thinking about getting it, get it. $250, you can't beat that for a 9mm pistol with a 15-round mag and a 17-round mag. So check it out. And until next time, guys, the Step Gun is out.